Today, we're exploring something very unique, at least in my opinion. Brian Von VA here, by the way. We're going to be talking about what elements from real life or a mainstream media source help to inspire the creation of your D&D character. That could be like movies, it could be a conversation with your dad, anything. It's really intriguing to me in general, so I hope you guys and gals out there like the set of stories we have for you today. If you have a story you'd like to submit, you can do so in the comments below, or our subreddit r/MrRipper. Let's dive right in, shall we? As an example, my character, a 17-year-old Beastmaster Ranger named Osbrey Neist, was actually inspired by a game called Bendy and the Ink Machine, BAT-IM for short. Particularly, my favorite character in the aforementioned game, who is known as Boris the Wolf. Like Boris, Osbrey is a bipedal anthropomorphic wolf, or wolfkin as his race is called in the campaign I'm part of, and expresses a love for music. Osbrey playing the bandicoot and being able to sing, whereas Boris is known for playing the clarinet. There is another wolf-like character in BAT-IM named Tom, who has a metal left arm. So I implemented that into Osbrey as well, with him having lost his original left arm during a traumatic incident he experienced as a child that led him to his adopted family getting separated from each other. Other characters I've drawn inspiration from for Osprey's own character are Balto from the animated Balto movies, Izuku Midoriya, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, from MHA, Aang and Sokka from, Avatar The Last Airbender, Milo or Milo Thatch from Disney's Atlantis The Lost Empire, Aragorn from Lord of the Rings, and Jim Hawkins from Disney's Treasure Planet, just to name a few. Also, he currently has an NPC girlfriend 4 years older than him named Tala, who is a shifter druid from the Circle of the Moon, and her character is wholly based on Meb from the movie Wolfwalkers, one of my, as well as the DM's, most favorite animated films of all time. The pair are so cute and sweet together, and I love them very much. Anywho, looking forward to seeing everybody else's responses to this post. Wishing you all the best, and may your roles be blessed with many nat 20s in the future. Well, thank you for all of that. Love you too. Norm L. Man. Oh, we're already starting it. He literally just started by me deciding to play comic relief, and thereby spent an hour cramming as many puns and jokes as I could into the character. Starting with his father, Hugh Man, and his mother, Whoa Man. Grandfather is Old Man. Great-grandfather, Very Old Man. And don't forget his twin brother, Abnorm L. Man. He was trained to be a cook by a septuous man who lost a limb in a cooking accident named Calamari Steve. I can't keep it together. Oh god, I'm choking. And ended up 6.6 trillion in debt when he borrowed money from Lone Sharkey, a mafia enforcer, which then led him to facing 44.5 assassination attempts, the 0.5 occurring by a guy named Doormat, who he just asked to leave. And everyone who just heard this takes, let me roll some dice here, 48 psychic pun damage. Listen, the narrator also took 48 psychic pun damage and died from it. Haven't used this one yet, but Krig from Borderlands 2. Okay, I know Borderlands. I got this one. The backstory. Spoiler alert! Essentially, he watched his family die, or so he thinks, and it broke his mental state. He turned into a violent, babbling psycho, hulked out a bit with new muscles, and carries a saw blade axe thing. He yells random gory things like, I have the shiniest meat bicycle! I can smell the crying! And let's not forget, I'm gonna put my pain into your soul! Nothing he ever says makes sense, except on rare, and I mean incredibly rare occasions. The thing is, the real sane version of Krig or whatever his real name is trapped inside his mind with this psycho, living out his existence as an inner monologue, trying to reason with the man in control of his body. I actually love this part of Borderlands 2. As a player character, they'd be a barbarian class. The player would have full control over their actions, but cannot really effectively communicate with the party. All their verbal lines would be nonsense, ideally voiced by the GM. Once per short rest as a bonus action, the player can make a persuasion check at DC 21. If they somehow succeed, the player may have the character speak up to 7 words of their choice to anyone within earshot. Failed the check? Ha! Instead, the GM will say something like, "I powdered my cockatiel for the ribcage slot." I highly suggest you watch the trailer for his character. "A meat bicycle built for 2. It's hilarious, and this narrator can vouch. I actually really liked his character in Borderlands. Very unique, and you don't really see it too often in other types of media. Made an assassin named Softlock, who has a bit of a different relationship with religion. He was inspired by Thane from Mass Effect 2, oh my heart, and calls out to different gods for different things. He is almost ritualistic in his assassinations, praying to Kelemavor, I believe that's how you pronounce it, to forgive the wicked, and Ilmater to ease their pain, calling on Tyr for bravery or Torm for strength. Thane is a master assassin in Mass Effect 2. I love his character and his species in general. That is a massively worthwhile game to play, and if you want D&D inspiration, they have tons of characters to choose from. My next character starting this week is a Spheres of Power Prodigy, a mixed melee magic class. Prodigy operates by building up a chain as it takes actions and then spending it on a big finisher attack. One of these finishers makes the next attack made that turn an automatic crit, so I want the biggest, heaviest weapon with the largest crit multiplier I can, which are generally hammers and axes. I also may have been threatening to use the Stone Blast Destruction Blast type for 3 games now, and this is an excellent chance to do so. So, for my inspiration, I turned to the mostly forgotten Final Fantasy game Type 0, which has a character named Sneak. Sneak, or Sinque, is a war mage at a military school that uses earth magic and swings around a really big mace. The perfect role model for my cute little bruiser. She's also a massive ditz, but given that my plan was to run around the battlefield knocking baddies to the moon with golf swings, I don't think I was playing very seriously to begin with. You could also look into a guy called Mongol from a very little known RPG that's actually really good called Legend of Dragoon. It was on the PS1, and it was a very underrated but very critically loved video game. Trust me, you'll love it. Bloodborne. Oh boy, here we go. Specifically the Hunters, the Cleric Beast, and Ludwig the Accursed. We've already covered all 3 of the mostly popular characters from Bloodborne. I made a lycanthrope beast barbarian who transforms into a creature similar to the Cleric Beast when under stress. Oh god, spooky. Her main goal in the campaign is to take control of the beast. I took some behavioral inspiration from Ludwig on the fact that she ignores her sword while transformed, instead using claws and teeth to brutally rip enemies apart. Once she gains control, if she doesn't die beforehand, I plan for her to finally have the willpower to pick up her sword and fight with the focus and skill she has in human form. SpongeBob SquarePants. Literally, just SpongeBob. I made a custom item with my DM's approval, which I could use for advice by rolling for a response. No, you didn't. And yes, it was indeed the magic conch. Oh god. All the responses were line for line from the episode as well. My precious boy started off as a joke character, but I loved him so much. I'm still playing his campaign, and within our first session, he convinced our gentle giant orc to help him tear off a corpse's leg for a weapon. Which, of course, has since been dubbed my leg! 10 out of 10, never going with a well thought out plan again. Well, my character's name is Mymina Vagrant. The name was inspired by the film Mymina Vagrant, which I believe in English is called The Society of Dead Poets. I hope I pronounced that correctly. My friends used to joke about it until I realized I took the idea of the mine. Mina in Italian is a mine, the one that, explode. As in being dangerous and extremely unpredictable. A human eldritch knight named Sayomon, with the Fey Lost background. As a teenager, Sayomon and a few friends ended up stumbling upon a Fey artifact. While messing around with the artifact, it activated and ended up dragging Sayomon into the Fey Wilds, where he was forced to survive. Over the years in the Fey Wilds, Sayomon became a competent fighter and was even able to master magic to a degree due to the nature of the Fey Wilds. One day, while searching for food, Sayomon felt a strange pulling sensation within his body before he was suddenly yanked toward the sky and fell unconscious. Upon regaining consciousness, Sayomon found himself laying on a wooden floor in what appeared to be a sort of study, with a young woman standing over him in shock. After some chaos, Sayomon finally calms down and realizes the Fey artifact laying on the ground nearby, which he immediately destroyed much to the woman's disdain. Sayomon and the woman eventually got to conversation, where he learned that he was gone from his home realm for over 100 years, despite only being in his late 20s physically. Most of Sayomon's character development was based around coming to terms with the fact that he could never truly go home, and that he needs to find a new life for himself in yet another unfamiliar world. The inspiration for Sayomon's background came from Robin Williams' role of Alan Parrish in Jumanji. Wow, didn't see that twist coming. I have a future character with heavy inspiration from witches, and something from witch doctors. They have the cool skull mask all witch doctors have, dark magic, and they summon spirits and stuff, just like any cackling witch. They will be a hexblood genie warlock with the Pact of the Chain, their vessel being a cauldron, and they learned to use dark magic from their creator, being a hag. I'm currently playing two different characters who both happen to be based on characters from movies. The first is Ulf Frostborn II. He started out as literally just D&D's version of Loki, but I slowly shifted from that with an original backstory, differing personality, and a little bit of Robin Hood sprinkled in. The second one is Gilder, who was first just a Ghost Slayer blood hunter with the telekinetic feat as a Star Wars joke. But then he slowly started looking more like Luke Skywalker. So I just said, fuck it, and made him fantasy Luke Skywalker, though he's still different, mostly in personality. Just changed Jedi to Blood Hunter, Sith to Necromancers, and the galaxy into a single country. Order 66 as a particularly effective Necromancer attack, and you've got like, I don't know, 2/3 of my character's backstory. Kamenos, or Kamenos? I don't know how to pronounce that. I hope I did a good job. A homebrewed race of mine called a Veil Walker. His sword is specifically King Arthur's sword from Sonic and the Black Knight. There's lore for it, but I won't put it up unless asked. My half-elf draconic sorceress was created from a bit of a mixture of different media. To start off, her first name, Helosia, is based off the Greek titan of the sun. She was given the first name because her parents Daphne and Apollo Dracul visited the Greco-based noble house of Solaris, which is one of the 5 houses in her country. Her last name, Dracul, comes from the fact that her maternal side is descended from dragons, and is also where her magic comes from. Lyrewood comes from her elvish side, who work with magic and music. Hey everybody, Brian Von VA here, checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and to ring that bell to get notified when we post a brand new video, and to leave a comment down below. You can submit a story down in the comments or on our subreddit r/MrRipper, where you tell us about a character that you may have made or intend to make based on an IRL experience or story, or even something from a video game or a movie or a TV show. Doesn't matter what it is, we want to know. And of course, if you want to check out your favorite narrator and voice actor from Ohio, me, Brian Von VA, you can do so down in the description by clicking my website link. That's right, I got a website. You can find all my socials through that as well, way down at the bottom. I usually use Twitch and Twitter more than anything, but YouTube's coming back soon. That being said, I try to end things on a positive, and today is no different. A lot of you, and I mean a lot of you, have started talking to me about how my narrations for these stories in particular tend to bring out a lot of inspiration for all of you. A lot of you started playing D&D because of me. A lot of you are listening to my voice when you're in surgeries or when you're trying to recover from a sickness or from depression or something. I'm grateful. I'm really glad that that I stuck around, that I was able to be here, and that I'm still going to be here for a long time, because a lot of you inspire me too to continue going forward in life, to fight through the minuscule problems I deal with compared to most people, but I really appreciate it. The fact that we're all strangers, but we're here for each other in an indirect sense. And I really respect that. It's like holding open the door for somebody at a supermarket. You never know how much that's actually going to do for somebody. So next time you're out buying groceries, do that. You never know if that's going to make somebody's day or not. All the love, be safe, be happy. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.